Incredible, amazing. You, Liz Benny, back here with the Happy Millions Show. And in this particular episode, I want to give you the lowdown of my trip to America and some of the top takeaways that I got from my time in America. And for those of you that are American, you'll probably want to listen up. This will be amazing. For those of you that are not American and look at America and go, oh my gosh, it's amazing over there, or it's scary over there, this is probably going to serve you as well. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs seeking a lot more fulfillment, a lot more freedom, a lot more fun, this probably is going to be an amazing episode for you as well. So I'm going to be kind of like firing on all cylinders here. I really want to serve you and make sure that this particular episode of the Happy Millions Show is something where you like look at this and go, holy crap, this episode changed my life. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about here is if you know that something is off in your life, if you can, maybe in your marriage, maybe in your business, maybe in your health, maybe in just how you're showing up as a leader in your community, whatever. If you know that something's off, then I hope that my journey to America and back serves as a bit of the wake-up call, maybe some inspiration, and maybe as like lighting the torch of freedom for you to be able to go with no agenda, like just go on a journey for yourself to find a part of you that you wouldn't otherwise find if you weren't in motion and if you weren't listening to the whispers. So I'll start with that. One of the number one things that I learnt or was reminded of, because I love listening to the whispers. And in the past when I travel, like I'm a person that loves to listen to the whispers. This is where I go. This is where I'm driving. This is who I'm meeting up with. This is what time dinner is. This is what it's just like, I like to travel in flow. And I'll be very honest with you right now. Before traveling to America this last time, which was around maybe a month ago now that I actually left, I legit booked the tickets maybe 3, 4, 5 days before I actually flew. And this is after being grounded in New Zealand for a month. No, I apologize, for a year and a half. The last international trip that I'd made was actually to Europe, and my wife Christy and I flew to Europe. We flew Cathay Pacific, I think it was, business class. It was beautiful. We went on a cruise. We met up with clients over there. I met a billionaire over there, and it was amazing. It was incredible. Like, it was just a bodacious trip. It was a maze. And then I found myself back in New Zealand, and I kind of grounded myself in New Zealand. It felt like I just needed to ground myself, literally ground myself, not take off, and create a new base here in New Zealand for myself. Christy and I have spent a lot of time landscaping our property. We've got a big property here, and it just felt like I just wanted a peaceful life. And I was kind of like, maybe Liz Benny, the Queen of Kapow, is not any longer. Maybe that part of me is done. And it was really interesting that over the last, year, I'd become a runner, and I'd trained for a half marathon, and that kind of became my identity, a wife, a runner, still a business coach, and still a transformational catalyst of change in people's lives. But I was just like, well, I don't travel so much anymore. So, and traveling wasn't part really of my identity so much anymore. But every single time I asked Spirit or asked God what my next step was, for the last 3 or 4 months, it was go to America. When I tell you that I was reluctant to go, I'm telling you I was reluctant to go. It was like, I was just like, hey, look, no, I really want to serve more people. I want to get out there more. I want to, make a difference. I want to bring in more finances to be able to be more impactful in the world and to live life at a different level for myself, because I love making money and I love serving people. And I still make incredible money, but I was like, well, I can make more. I can serve more, I can make more, I can be more, and all this sort of stuff. And every single time that I was like, hey, what's my next move? Either I was reading the Bible, or either like I was doing something intuitive, or whatever it was in my journaling in the morning, it kept coming up. America, go to America, go to America. I keep seeing Jeep after Jeep after Jeep in New Zealand. And Jeeps aren't a big thing in New Zealand. For the Americans, you're like, whoa, whoop-de-doo, you saw Jeeps. No. It's like seeing, neon lights going, go to America. When I saw a Jeep, I saw Jeep after Jeep after Jeep when I was running one day. I was like, okay, got it. And then I saw the American flag when I was at the gym beside me. I was like, okay, cool. Okay, I got it. But I still didn't want to go. I didn't want to leave my peace. I didn't want to leave New Zealand. I didn't want to leave my wife. I didn't want to. And I guess it was probably a little bit of fear in that, like, what if I go to America and, life becomes unpeaceful? What if I learn something that that creates more dis-ease in my life, and I don't want dis-ease. I love ease. So there was a part of me that was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Let me not break this beautiful, peaceful life that I have created for myself. So there was reluctance. Like when I pressed the buy button on the ticket, I was reluctant to press it, but I knew I had to. It was like it being in conversation with spirit and going, okay, look, this is hands off the wheel. Well, not really, because I had to press the button as I bought the ticket. But I think you get the concept here. So when I actually booked the ticket, I felt two things. I felt relief because I'd finally done the thing that I've been told to do for a couple of months. Now, you might go, well, Liz, why didn't you book it sooner? And why don't you just do it sooner and put yourself out of the misery? Well, because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go. And I can show you a picture of how I was crying as I was walking onto the plane. That's how much I didn't want to go. I wanted to just, stay in my life here. But I did want to go because I wanted to live a better life. I wanted to live a bigger life. I wanted to live a more bold life. And by bigger, bolder, or better, like it literally meant that I needed to just pack my bags and go. And my dog is 13 and a half, and I didn't want her to pass away and all that sort of stuff. And there was a lot of entanglement and emotion in going. But booking the ticket required me to step into courage and to step into a space of radical trust that was really just as peaceful as staying in New Zealand. And more so actually, because I was like, well, if I'm supposed to go, something amazing is going to happen. If I'm supposed to go, and if this is what my next step is in life, something incredible is going to happen. And it did. Lots of miracles happened. I met person after person after person after person that is changing my life and whose life I am able to change as well. Like whatever it was. Some people, it was me, assisting them in business. I accidentally assisted someone in making $100,000 just like that, which was really cool. I did some spiritual work on him and it was amazing, actually. Very, very, very cool. He closed a $100,000 deal. And it's not just that I did spiritual work. It was actually spiritual strategic work. He was trying to do everything here. And I went, just do that part there. Off that as your only service. That's it. That one part there. And that's the thing. He was like, that's the thing that I really loved it. I'm like, that's it. Just do that and offer just that. And so that turned into a $100,000 contract for him. And that was amazing. And he made, $12,000 in some other thing and $25,000 in some other thing as well. So it was cool to be part of his transformation, like really liberating, amazing stuff. So that was cool. So I was able to serve people and be served by people. And again, I didn't want to go. The whole concept that I'm wanting you to get here is I listened to the whispers finally. I took action because my belief system is if you're not listening to the whispers, then you're not actually open to receiving the guidance from spirit that actually is there for you and your higher self, your angels, your guides, people that have passed, etc. And they're like literally your cheerleaders. So I knew that I needed to go, but I will even let you know that when I was in Los Angeles on maybe the second day that I was there, I couldn't hear. I didn't know what the next step was. All I knew was drive. Just drive. I'm like, America's a big place. Where am I driving to? And I didn't actually even know what that next step was. I didn't know where to drive to. Do I drive north? And go from Los Angeles to San Francisco and then drive up the Pacific coast? Do I go east? Do I go diagonally up to Colorado? I was like, I don't even know what to do here. So I will admit to you right now, it was frustrating and it was annoying. And in the first couple of days that I was there, I just wanted to get back on a plane. I'm like, fine, I haven't got the whisper. I haven't heard the next direction. Let me not be the dickhead that made it to America and then just returned home. And I spoke with my wife. She was back here in New Zealand and she said, just drive. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know where to drive to. I spoke with someone else and they were like, drive. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know where to drive to. Anyway, I had one conversation with the next person. His name is Chad. And he said, come here. And in that moment, I was like, oh, that one was light. Because everything else felt heavy. And driving to Chad's house felt light. I was like, great, that's my next move. Finally, And then I hired a Jeep. And then on that journey across to Phoenix, it was like whisper after whisper after whisper just flowed through. And I was like, maybe I'm just going to like travel around America and hug as many people as I can. Maybe that's the thing, like miles and hugs, or like maybe like how can I just share as much of my joy of life with as many people as possible? And that kind of became the goal. Like, how do I meet as many people as possible and serve them and be served? I actually believe in that. Serve and be served. Serve and be served. I just felt like saying it again and slowly, because if I say serve and be served, sometimes I speak way too fast, specifically for my American market. They're like, what did you say? And I'm like, serve and be served. So a big thing here is listen to the whispers. I hope that there is a part of you right now that's like, I know I'm not listening to the thing that I know that I need to be and do. And I will let you know right now that I have had the opportunity to be in touch with some incredible people in the last 2.5, 3 weeks. And it wouldn't have happened had I not had the courage to press buy the ticket and get on the plane, even though I didn't want to. And there were so many reasons why I wouldn't go. There were so many reasons why I shouldn't go. But I will let you know one thing. There was one person in my life, and his name is Cody. And him being in my corner, it was him that actually said, get your ass to America. And he didn't even know all the whispers that I'd gotten. It was him saying, get your ass to America. And he actually said, let's do an event. Now, I didn't end up meeting him in America. I didn't end up putting an event on with him in America. However, it was him and being in contact with him and him believing in me and him saying, hey, get your ass to America. That was like, okay, cool. I got to go. I'm just going to take the punt on this one and I'm going to go. So the other things that I will let you know is that one of the big things that I learned when I was in America was reminded of, two different things actually. The one thing that I learned is that the American economy, as I felt it as a tourist, as a person that is, was visiting, like I was witness to Americans spending money like there was no problem. Just so you know. Now, you might have a different belief around that. That's your belief. That's absolutely fine. What I was witness to was a stark difference in what I'd been told things were. Yes, I still saw homeless people, but I actually saw less homeless people on this last trip than I did the time before. That's one thing. And I was driving a lot. And for those of you asking what states was I was in California and Arizona. Yes, Arizona is a swing state. Yeah, I never made it to a super red state. I made it to it was still a red state. Arizona is still a red state. So I have spent time in a blue state and a democratically run, predominantly red state, aka Arizona. And it was interesting. The energy in both those states was entirely different. 100% could feel that. And yet Americans as a people still believe, the Americans that I spoke to, let's just say that, they believe that they are still the greatest nation in the world, an incredibly powerful country. Capitalism is a thing that is like it's a society that is predominantly more capitalistic than what I'm used to in New Zealand, which I must admit to you, like I loved being a part of a culture again where people are like, well, I make as much money as I want. I have the right to make all this, and it's just the sense of confidence in America, specifically with the entrepreneurial community that I was speaking with there. This is just this confidence that I'm not witness to so much in New Zealand. New Zealand's a much more, don't poke your head up type culture. And it was so beautiful to be around that again. America is one of the coolest countries in the world. I missed being there. So being back there was like, oh my gosh, like y'all have got your shit sorted in a way that a lot of people haven't. Is it perfect? Far from it. Is New Zealand perfect? Far from it. Am I perfect? Far from it. Are you perfect? far from it. And, you might think you are. Cool, whatever. You get to believe whatever you believe. But being in America taught me that what I had seen or what I'd been told about how bad America had become wasn't true. Now, you might, even as an American right now, be like, well, Liz, that's bullcrap. But I'm just saying that from my experience, I got to witness beauty. I got physical beauty in the landscape, physical beauty in how I was treated. And yes, I'm a novelty because I'm from New Zealand and I speak different and all that sort of stuff. And maybe, just maybe, I was treated differently. But I did have the opportunity to witness people treating other people really beautifully. So I don't just think it was the Liz Benny kapow effect. So I got to witness that the America that I knew is still there. Because I'd been told that America was so different, that everything was bad and everything was wrong. And I'm like, yes, things have changed, but so has New Zealand, so has the world. So we've all changed. COVID changed us. There's been a lot of, AI is changing us. And it wasn't all doom and gloom, is what I'm here to say. And it brought me back to this part of my spirit again. I was like, oh my gosh, the possibilities of how I get to live my life are endless. I get to choose whatever. And I've always said this, I get to choose. But just being around people who vibrate at a different level was really, really, really cool, because I'm a highly sensitive person as well. So being around these people and serving these people and doing my work in person with these people was so amazing. So number one, listen to the wizards. Number two, America is still thriving and there's a lot of money to be made in America. And, from an economic standpoint, I'm not an economist, period, that's it. But I got to see people still spending up large, still buying whatever they wanted. There wasn't I can't do that because, or I shouldn't do that because, in all of the areas that I was. There was not one time that I felt a scarcity about how people were living their life, if that makes sense. So with that said, it was so beautiful to be surrounded by that energy. And I've done every single thing that I can, and I will continue to bring that energy home, to be part of that, to make sure that I connect all the dots that I got over there. I've got miles and miles and miles of pieces of paper to go through. You can see probably here the pink paper. For those of you watching right now, you can see the pink paper, bright pink paper from some VIP days that I had. And I've got incredible things that I'm wanting to put together now for people. And the big thing that I want to say is, like, life is short. And I think that the biggest message is keep things simple. Like, we all think that because we have, and I'm specifically speaking to entrepreneurs who have made millions and millions of bucks, like, because you know everything, you know how to scale, you know how to optimize, you know how to systemize, you know how to market, you know how to this, you know how to that, you know how to do sales, you know how to blah, 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 doesn't mean you have to, doesn't mean you should. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that's the big thing that I wanted to finish with here is I see people living incredibly complex lives, creating complexity for themselves in their business and their life. And I live a really simple life for the most part. And I love my simple life. And I had the opportunity to serve a multi-millionaire on a VIP day that I put on for her. I actually I developed a concept called transformational travel. Be with me for a couple of days will transform your business and life. And it was amazing. It was incredible. She has gone back to Canada as a completely different person. In terms of, like, unshackled is what I would say, not completely different, refined, defined, confident. And it was incredible to just help her see and get rid of the clutter that was in her life as well. The belief systems that just didn't need to be there anymore. And it reminded me that, like, just how potent we are as humans when we get to choose, or when we allow ourselves to choose. We always get to choose. And when people choose simplicity over complexity, when people choose abundance over scarcity, and when people choose faith over fear, and when people choose to listen to the whispers, finally, incredible things happen. I was connected with decamillionaires. I was connected with billionaires. I was connected with people who are, not necessarily, killing it financially yet. They're doing okay. They're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars. But they've got such an incredible journey ahead of them, and they're choosing their greatness. They're choosing their bigness. They're choosing their boldness. So I'm seeing a thriving nation, and I'm bringing thriving home. Instead of just, not that I was just surviving, like I was definitely like peaceful, but I've brought back home my peace. And I've also brought back this thing of like, well, you know what? I'm going to have to travel more now. To be more impactful, to live life more on my terms, I'm going to have to travel more now. And the amazing thing, and this is the big thing that I want to close out with, is one of the biggest things that my time in America taught me is how solid and beautiful my marriage is. And it was always beautiful. No, it hasn't always been beautiful. I think every marriage goes through times where it doesn't feel beautiful. But it has definitely taught me how connected and how loved I am. How connected I am with my wife, how loved I am by my wife, how solid and sure of herself she is, which means that, it just means like everything feels different, in a good way different. Like the things that might have otherwise held us back 2, 3, even 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, they're just not there anymore. And my experience of being in America as someone who is in a same-sex marriage and who is, has been the head of the company and the head of the, the income and the head of blah, 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 all that sort of stuff. It was really beautiful to be over there and to experience the beautiful peace within my marriage. And it's a peace that, upon that foundation of powerful peace, anything is possible. And coming back to New Zealand and being met by the most beautiful love in the world, the peace that I feared losing was the peace of my marriage, and the peace got more peaceful. And I didn't know that that was possible. The love got deeper, and I didn't know that that was possible. And the possibilities got more expansive, and I did know that was possible. So going to America reminded me and reconnected me with my higher power and my bigger truth and my bolder being. And it allowed me to transform other lives and then feel the fulfillment in that transformation. And it got me to a place where I was like, holy moly, I'm one of the richest people in the world because I am loved so deeply. And I am free to be whoever I don't need to dim my light, is what I'm trying to say. I don't need to dim my light for anyone. And I won't, because I have, and I know the pain of dimming my light. So I hope sincerely that there is a part of this message that serves you in some way, shape, or form. I am very blessed to be able to listen to the whispers. I wish I'd listened sooner. I would have been able to serve people sooner. But it is what it is, and I forgive myself for not listening. I also know that everything happens in perfect timing, and I don't need to worry about anything like that. So I hope in my heart of hearts that this has served you. Please know that there is a possibility for you that you might need to listen to the whispers in order to hear. And I hope and I pray that you are opening yourself to your greatness more and more and more, and stepping into your boldness with more truth and more audacity. Because the number of people that said to me, oh my gosh, you just listening to the whispers? That's so amazing. It was so inspirational to people that it reconnected them back to the possibility of them stepping into the unknown and listening to the whispers for themselves. So I love you. You're incredible. You're amazing. I will see you in the next episode of The Happy Million Show. And may you step into your boldness in an ever-increasing way, day to day, so that you live your truth. And when your time is up on earth, you'll be like, dang, I did that well. That was amazing. That was incredible. I love you. Bye.